This morning, Ambac Financial Group reported a $2.34 billion fourth quarter net loss. Ambac said its fourth quarter net loss came in at about $8.14 a share. This compares favorably to a loss of $3.27 billion or $32 a share a year earlier. On an operating basis, which excludes write-downs based on mark-to-market valuations, the company said it lost $6.79 a share in the period. Most analysts were expecting a loss of about $2.28 a share. Ambac said that its results included a $594 million drop in the fair value of credit derivatives, as well as net loss provisioning of over $916 million, primarily related to its residential mortgage-backed security portfolio. Net premiums earned for the quarter did rise 9% to $228 million. During the credit and real estate boom earlier this decade, bond insurers like Ambac and MBIA sold derivative-based guarantees on mortgage-backed securities, known as collateralized debt obligations. Now that home prices have slumped and foreclosures have surged, Ambac's been forced to pay up on some of those guarantees while recording permanent losses on others. Japan's exports have dropped nearly in half during the month of January from the January year earlier, with record drops in shipments to the U.S., Europe, and the rest of Asia, pointing to a deepening recession across much of the world. Japanese car exports fell by 66% from a year earlier. This is a pickup from a 45% annual decline seen last month. According to an economist at the Norichuken Research Institute in Tokyo, we don't see any signs of a pickup in the Japanese economy in the near term. In fact, the economy will gradually worsen further. Many factories in China and elsewhere in Asia use Japanese components to make goods that are ultimately sold in the West. Yesterday, Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke warned of a possible prolonged recession in the United States. Asian countries rely heavily on manufactured exports and, of course, have been very hard hit as Western consumers who have no money curtail their spending. Japan is among the worst affected of the Asian economies, with a 45.7% plunge in exports in January from a year earlier, much deeper than any fall seen so far in South Korea or China. In Dhaka, Bangladesh this morning, mutinous Bangladeshi border guards stormed their headquarters and opened fire on their superior officers. They agreed to surrender later in the day after the government said it would grant them amnesty. The guards were angry over their pay. They seized their headquarters and a nearby shopping mall, killing one person and trapping dozens of children in their school on the compound that they seized. The army was called in. Negotiations ensued between the group who are the Bangladesh Rifles, that's the official name of the paramilitary border guards, and the Prime Minister. An agreement was reached, the fighting ended, and the children were allowed to leave. A spokesman for the mutineers said, "The Prime Minister has announced amnesty for those involved in the trouble. We now hope to lay down our weapons and go back to our barracks." Let's see what happens there. I wouldn't be too optimistic of no punishment. A little bit to the northwest of Bangladesh, 33 people were killed and another 19 injured after a bus fell into a river in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. A senior police official said the cause of the accident today has not yet been determined. He did say that the 32-seat bus was overloaded, which would have to be because there are 33 people who were killed. Rescue operations are currently in progress. Road accident fatalities in India are 3 times higher than in developed countries. The mining giant Rio Tinto has sent a letter to customers raising the potential for force majeure on iron ore shipments from its Pilbara operations in Western Australia. This after heavy rain and flooding have closed rail lines. The Anglo-Australian mining company would not confirm or deny these reports, but said only that its letter did detail the possibility of a temporary stop of shipments due to bad weather. A spokesman for the company said for 2 weeks there has been no unloading. The sheds are not empty yet in the ports, but our stockpiles are obviously not being replenished, and they will be empty soon unless the climate changes. Our parent company, CATEX, put a press release out this morning announcing the introduction of Pivot Point 2.0, which is the world's only .NET web-based complete insurance and reinsurance transaction system. We have seen demos of this system, and it is frankly as startling as anything that could be imagined. If you are interested in seeing the future, we would suggest that you arrange a demo of this system and get a look at it. Currently, Pivot Point, in its non-.NET form, is servicing over $4 billion a year in premiums and claims. This is not notional premium, this is hard money. With the advent of the .NET release now, the system is even stronger. We'll continue to monitor the news. The stock market is down about 124 points now. There do not seem to be any additional bulletins regarding the Turkish plane crash. As of the break, we noticed that ambulances were in fact getting into the crash site, so apparently they've either gotten stronger ambulances that can go through the mud or the mud is dried up. If we have anything else that breaks, we'll come back and tell you. If not, we'll see you tomorrow, and thank you for watching.